Hello everyone and welcome to the playroom. Say hi, Skyla. I haven't ever filmed in here before, but this is where we're filming today. I normally do monthly updates for Skyla, if you didn't know. I have done 1 through 5 months, and at 6 months I started to drop the ball because her 6-month update was in December, which was right around all the crazy Christmas stuff. And then January, I was way behind on videos, and now February, I'm finally gonna do her update for 6, 7, and 8 months, and I'm just gonna highlight the most important things that have happened in the past couple months. I can't guarantee that Skyla will stay in the frame because she is a wiggly worm, as you can see here. She's a total wiggle worm. You're a total wiggle worm. And she currently has carrots under her nose. She just turned 8 months old yesterday. You just turned 8 months old yesterday. Yesterday. You're so big. You're so big. You're so big. I normally have her hair in a ponytail because it's getting so long that it's just like, I feel like it probably is really annoying for her. Okay. So around 6 months old, she started to be able to sit up by herself, and now she is doing that all the time. Skyla sits up on her own, and as you can see, she is crawling as well. But around 6 months exactly is when she would sit up and she could stay sitting up for a long time, and that just became like her thing at 6 months. When she was about 7 months, she started to be able, don't knock that over please, to be able to crawl with her belly off the ground. So like a full crawl happened around 7 months for her. We can't do Beepo though because, I'm sorry. Before 7 months, like around 6 months, and I guess at the beginning of 7 months, she was like pulling herself along with her like an army crawl, but now it's a full-blown crawl. We started sleep training at 6 months, and this is like a huge question that I get asked, is about how we did sleep training with Skyla and what route we chose, because everybody has like a totally different approach to sleep. And I just remember I was at her 6-month appointment, and is that your unicorn? I was like, so we haven't been sleep training her or doing anything like that, so I asked the pediatrician, what do you recommend? And she said, well, we recommend starting to sleep train them between 4 and 6 months. And this is what I suggest you do. So her suggestion to us was that when we put Skyla to sleep, that you put her to sleep drowsy but not fully asleep. I'm sure you've heard that before, but you put them to sleep drowsy, like when they start rubbing their eyes and getting tired, unless you have a bedtime routine established, which we have a bedtime routine established that I'll talk about too. But like, she has her bath, and then she has a book, and then she has a bottle. Sometimes they're not in that order just because life isn't always perfect like that, but there's always bath, book, and bottle, all those, the 3 B's. And then right after we do those, we put her in the crib, and we put a sleep sack on her. We put like one of the zip up or button up like full-footed little sleepers. As you can see, she's getting very interested in toys. So we put her in a sleeper, and then we put the sleep sack over it, and we put her in her crib. And inside the crib, there's like a little aquarium scene, and it has lights, and it has an aquarium sound. But we also turn on a Dom sound machine every night when she's going to bed. It's just white noise, and it helps like if there's any noise going on out here. So the gate really helps keep animals out. If there's any noise going on out here, like the Dom sound machine helps drown that out, and so she doesn't get disturbed over and over by that. But the way that it worked, it took exactly 3 nights before she was totally understood the whole sleep training situation. So the doctor said in the first night it was really hard, but to put them down, and then if they start to cry, you basically let them kind of cry for, she said, a maximum of 20 minutes. But I've read online all sorts of different time, like, lengths, so I guess you just have to choose what you feel comfortable. If you're sleep training, you can pick your time. But our pediatrician said 20 minutes, and I didn't know any better, so I just did that. So every single night for the first 3 nights, it took her 13 minutes, and after 13 minutes she would fall asleep. And then we used to have the nighttime feedings where she would wake up and feed in the middle of the night, and the pediatrician said that there's no like reason from a nutritional standpoint that they need to feed in the middle of the night, and so you use the same tactic when they wake up in the middle of the night. And once again, like in the middle of the night, she would only wake up and whine like just a little bit for like 5 minutes. It wasn't even the full 13 minutes, and it only lasted, I'm not kidding you, 3 days exactly, until she would fall asleep instantly in her crib when we put her down, because she knew it was bedtime. So she doesn't roll around and cry in her crib at night whatsoever, and not even during nap times. When she gets put in her crib and the lights turn off, the aquarium goes on and the sound machine goes on, she goes right to sleep, because she knows that's what it means. And so that's how we did it. She sleeps for 12 hours, like usually a full 12 hours. I would say on average she's asleep by 7 p.m. every night, and she wakes up in between 6 and 7 a.m. So it works out perfectly. Sometimes in the night she still wakes up a little bit and whines, but for the most part she sleeps all the way through the night consistently. And for nap times, I don't do a scheduled nap time. The only thing that she has scheduled is her bedtime. The nap times are just like, because days are different, and some days you're running errands, some days your schedule is different than others, at least for me, because I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I would say for everyone, unless you have like just a strict routine in general for every day, I don't. And so she gets 2 naps a day, but I play those naps by ear. And I know when she's drowsy and needs her nap, because she starts rubbing her eyes, and like I can just tell that she gets this look in her face. I'm like, okay, it's nap time. So I do the same thing. I put her in her sleep sack and I put her in her crib, and off she goes to sleep. So we've just been really lucky on the sleep training with Skyla, because at around 6 months, we started being able to sleep through the night, and I feel like a normal functioning human being again, and I'm just really happy with how it turned out. I wrote down to tell you about her new like bath routine. Well, when we started her in the infant tub, she was in the 4 Moms infant tub. When she grew out of that, I don't even know at what age, I guess 6 months she grew out of that, and then we put her in the like this little blow up inflatable ducky that we got at Target that we put her in the bath. And then when she got to be about 7 months, she started to crawl out of the ducky. So now she just takes a bath in the regular bathtub like a big girl, and I just fill the water up, not very deep, just kind of up to her, like maybe not even her waist level, like her a little bit above, like, yeah, I guess waist level. And she takes baths like a normal big girl, and it's so crazy and it's so cute. But every night at 6 o'clock is when we start bath times. Towards the end of 7 months old, she started to pull herself up on like me or on the furniture, and she can hold herself like she can hold herself up and stand. Like she can pull herself from sitting and like move like inch along the furniture, and that just happened within the past like 2 weeks, I think, which it's so crazy too. It's so crazy to watch how strong she's getting. Everybody wants to know, why did I switch to formula? And it all kind of goes back to, there are multiple reasons, but before we really go into that, I want to say, whenever I took my breastfeeding class, the teacher recommended that we breastfeed for at least 6 months, but ideally for a year. And so I made it a goal in my head to reach the 6 month mark, and I told myself if I reach the 6 month mark, that if I wanted to switch to formula then, that I wouldn't feel guilty, and that that was like my goal. But I really wanted to breastfeed for a year if I could. So at 6 months, she got her teeth as well. So she has 2 teeth, and she got them both when she was 6 months old. And let me tell you, when she bites, it hurts pretty bad. That's has nothing to do with why I stopped breastfeeding, but I did want to point out that she has teeth, and if I were still breastfeeding, I feel like that would be a little bit painful. Here's what happened. It was kind of like a whirlwind of things. The pediatrician recommended that we start to supplement with formula, so that if there's ever a time where I don't have breast milk saved up and someone has to watch her and there's no breast milk available, that she is like used to having formula sometimes, just at different times. So I had bought the Honest Company formula, like the organic sensitive formula, and she had had it once before and had no problems with it. And then she had it a second time, like a couple days after her 6 months vaccinations, as well as the flu shot at 6 months. like it was like the day after that she had her second bottle of that formula. The day after that, like, so like 24 hours later, she had blood in her diaper. So I took her back in and I said, could it be from the vaccinations? They said, no, it's not from the vaccinations, because she never had a reaction like that at her 2-month or 4-month, which I still don't necessarily know what I believe. But then I said, could it be from the formula? And she said, what kind of formula? And then I told her, and she was, well, the thing is, a lot of time with blood in the diapers, it's a milk protein allergy. So I said, but I've been breastfeeding this whole time and she hasn't had any problems. And they said, well, what are her stools normally like? And I said, they're normally really loose and watery. And I thought that was just kind of like par for the course for breastfed babies to have loose, watery stools. And the doctor said that that the fact that she was having frequent loose, watery stools meant that she could have like a mild milk protein allergy, and that my milk was just like irritating just a little bit to give her the loose, watery stools, but that when we gave her that formula, it really brought the milk protein allergy out and kind of like showed that she has a real milk protein allergy, which is interesting, because a lot of people had said in the beginning when she had reflux that maybe it was a milk protein allergy. Since she had blood in her stool, and it wasn't just like a little bit of blood, it was like a bloody diaper. Like when you open the diaper, it was just blood. The doctor was like, I'm really just gonna recommend that right off the bat we just go ahead and switch like today to a like dairy-free formula, like a specialized formula just for babies with milk protein allergies. So in the meantime, I was just pumping and like storing up my milk to wait and see if it cleared up. Sure enough, like 24 hours later, after being on Similac Alimentum, all the symptoms cleared up and she had normal poops again. Well, I mean, formula poops. Normal by their standards. They're disgusting. And she was completely fine. So I was like, okay, well, I guess in that case, I'm just gonna go ahead and switch the formula, because I didn't really want to take any risks going back to my breast milk. And I also, because I didn't know, I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't know, is it from the vaccine, is it from my milk, or is it from that formula? I just didn't know. And I just was, once the Alimentum worked, I just felt like might as well just, what's wrong, baby? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Once the Alimentum worked, I just figured that we should, since something was working, I didn't want that to happen again, because it was so scary that I would just stay on it. And then she like regressed, because I was told by the doctor that Alimentum and Nutramigen were the same thing. They told me that there's literally no difference between Alimentum and Nutramigen. They're just two different brands, and one of them works with the baby Brezza, which is, it's like a baby formula Keurig, and you just like put the water and the formula in, and it just like mixes it for you. You like select the ounces and it mixes the formula for you, and it just makes formula feeding like a breeze. And so all my friends were telling me, you've got to get the baby Brezza, you've got to get the baby Brezza, it's so neat, it's so cool, we love it, we love it. And so I bought the baby Brezza. It cost $180, I think, or maybe even more than that, I don't know, it was a lot. And I got home, I was going to set it up, and it said it was not compatible with Alimentum, but it was compatible with the Nutramigen. And so they're the exact same thing. According to the doctor, they said they're the exact same thing. So I was like, okay, well, since I bought this, we'll use the Nutramigen. So after about a week of using Nutramigen, the same thing started happening again. The blood in the stools came back, and she got sick. She ended up having a fever, and she was sick for a while, and I freaked out, oh my gosh. And yeah, we went to a GI specialist and everything, and of course he was like, well, let's go back to the Alimentum and just see like if that clears it up. And he had a game plan for if it didn't, but of course, like after, I'm not kidding you, once again, about 24 hours on the Alimentum. Baby, what's wrong? Want the puppy? I mean the kitty? After 24 hours being back on the Alimentum, she went totally back to normal, and then I felt like, first of all, I felt awful, but second of all, like, I mean, they're clearly nutrition and alimentum are not the same. But ever since then, it's been 2 months and she's been on the alimentum and we haven't had any problems since, so that's the good news. The GI also gave us like a special list of foods to start with that are the lowest possible, like the lowest possibility of her having an allergic reaction to, and then towards the higher, the more risky foods, I guess. And so we've been starting, there's like an A, B, C, and D group, and we've been in the A and B group. And then he said we might get cleared around, I think he said either 9 months or a year to start with back with the C and D group. But on the C and D group is like oatmeal. So I can't even give her that baby oatmeal, or like, because I was giving her baby oatmeal and he said, don't do that. What are you doing? So that's why, but we're happy and all is good in the world of Skyla. She's like in perfect health. See that? She just pulled herself right up. She hasn't been weighed since she was 6 months, and last time she weighed, she was just under 18 pounds, but I mean, that's like not a good indication of what she is now, because that was 2 months ago. So we haven't weighed her and I haven't gotten her length, but last time I was checked, she was in the 90-something percentile for her length, like something crazy, and her weight was just around like the midpoint. She has been babbling a lot and talking a lot. She used to say mama and dada, but it's kind of like few and far between now when she says it. I mean, she still says it. Like sometimes she'll say hi, or a lot of times when I'm trying to put her to bed, she says mama, but other than that, like she won't say it for me. She hasn't said dada since 6 months. She said dada all the time at 6 months. I'm sure she has no idea what she's saying, but like she used to say the word, even if she didn't know what it meant, all the time, da 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 da. And now I've been calling her bottle a baba, and sometimes she has said baba back to me, but other than that, I don't know if she even knows, but I'm sure it's involuntary. It's probably way too early for her to be really like comprehending those words, you know. Her hair is getting lighter, like it's starting to look red. I don't know if you guys can tell, her eyebrows are definitely red, but in the light her hair looks really auburn. I don't know where that came from, because neither of us are red and neither of us have redheads in our family. At least I don't think so. So she's definitely got like auburn hair, and her eyes are looking more and more hazel. And sometimes they look like they have like a little tint of green or yellow in them, but I think they look like they're gonna be hazel to me. And her hair, I don't know, I just can't tell. It's like she changes so fast. That's all I'm going to talk about today, because I feel like that was a lot of information, and I just wanted to go over like the main questions that everyone's been asking about her. This has like been like the most highly requested video, is this update. So if you have any more requests, leave them in the comments, and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. If you have questions about, I do read through the comments. I don't get to see all of them, but if you have questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try to get to them. And sometimes you guys ask like about where things that Skyla has are from, and I try to link those. So if you have questions about stuff like that, remind me and I'll try and drop a link. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, bye, bye. Your eyes look, you can't even tell that her eyes are hazel right now. They just look brown. Oh, you want to show them your red eyebrows? Say, look at my red eyebrows, Mom. Bye. Bye. Say bye. I think we need a diaper change.